change coming to Pima County, and for many, it is a very welcome change.
Honorable Erica Cornejo is here to tell us about more access to the courts and a change to the warrants that'll really sort of make a lot of people's lives a little bit easier, right? Such a pleasure to have you here.
Well, thank you for having me here. I'm really excited to be and explain about our court program, which we're all very proud of.
Yeah, and we're going to start with sort of an educational piece, because some people may not know, myself included. Right before the show, we were talking about what a warrant actually means. So what are the consequences of having a warrant?
Well, the first part that you have to understand is that a warrant for your arrest or a failure to appear warrant occurs when, just as it sounds like, when you don't come up for court. So for a lot of people, their first introduction into the court system is probably speeding or parking. I know that was my introduction when I was a teenager. Right. So, you get the police officer and they tell you you have to appear on such and such date at such and such time. You appear, you go through the process, and then you finish. But for some people, for whatever reason, whether it be work scheduling, school scheduling, or they're simply afraid to come into court, they miss their court date. What happens then is a failure to appear warrant comes out. A $50 warrant fee is imposed, which actually gets sent to collections if you don't pay it. And then if you are stopped by a police officer, then you're arrested and taken into jail for a period of time before you are released by a judge and have a new court date. And that process of being taken into jail and getting a new court date can severely impact people's ability to live their lives. It's not something that's planned. So let's say you're driving down the street and you speed again and you get a failure to appear warrant, you're taken in. That's time that you didn't request off from your work. So you may be impacting your job. That may be if you don't have a big familial support system or a friend that you can call to pick up your kids, that might be a CPS case. So the consequences really increase, if you had civil charges. So like maybe it wasn't even a criminal to begin with, a criminal charge, it was civil speeding. That can go into default. You can actually be found responsible and lose your opportunity to tell your side of the story. So coming in is really the most important thing. And we say whatever your issue is with the court after that, once you come in, we'll work it out. But the important thing is to come in.
Because it does snowball.
It does.
I mean, that really can take over your life because it just hangs over you and then it affects your entire family. So let's talk about night court, because this is going to be a welcome announcement to a lot of people who may have wanted to go before and weren't able to, like you said. It starts at 4:30 and it goes until 6. And what happens?
Well, we have it once a month. In the next 3 months, we're having it for December 18th, January 15th, and February 12th. You come in sometime between 4:30 and 6. Some people have appointments, some people don't. It's a walk-in court. You can come in and you request to have your warrant quashed. I'll set you a court date. I'm hearing court hearings for all of the judges in the courthouse. And some promises that I make on behalf of the court is if you come in voluntarily, you will not be taken to jail. Unless there's some new criminal act that occurs in the courthouse, which obviously I can't control. But if you're just coming in to quash your warrant and get a new court hearing, I will make sure that that happens for you. We can also make sure that it's your only court hearing if certain factors are in place. I can't make that promise either. But what we can promise is a new court date, and if we are possible, your only court date. We can make you payment plans, we can set you up with any kind of processes that is beneficial to you, so that you can remove yourself from the court system and just go on with your life.
Right.
Yeah, and you want to see people go on with their lives as a judge. Your job is not to try to make their life miserable, so I'm sure you've seen success stories that sort of have brightened your day, right? That have made them feel better too.
Absolutely. This is my favorite part about being a judge. This and doing the weddings on Tuesdays and Fridays.
Right.
But it's people who come in who maybe have been afraid for some reason. Maybe there's something in their life or their past or their history that makes them kind of afraid of the courthouse. Sometimes people can feel that way, don't have a lot of experience with it. And seeing them come in afraid and leave happy and satisfied is one of the best parts of my job, absolutely 100%. And we hear stories from them about how having a warrant changed their quality of life. Maybe they don't feel as comfortable going to the school plays if there's going to be a a police officer
Right.
there. Maybe they don't access police officers in the same way as somebody else who doesn't have a warrant.
Right.
Maybe they're afraid to go to the 4th Avenue Street Fair. And so these things have a tendency to build over time in the way that you interact with police, the way you interact with the court system, and we really would like to reduce that fear. The fear is the big part we want to reduce.
And you're a friendly face, and you can also bring your kids too.
Absolutely,
make it as easy as possible.
100%. And one of the things that I'm trying to get rolling is that if you do bring your child into the courthouse, I'm going to give them a library book that's age appropriate. But that's something I'm still working on. But I love
the
kids.
situation.
Absolutely. Know that I'm. You know, nobody likes to talk about themselves, but I am not what you would call a mean judge. I'm not going to yell at you or make you feel bad. I understand 100% that everybody has things in their lives that makes it challenging. Maybe you couldn't come in because of work or whatever. Just come in and we'll take care of it.
So nice to hear. Thank you so much for being here, giving us our education. Night Court at the Pima County Consolidated Justice Court is the second Wednesday of every month. The next date is coming up on December 18th. For more information, you can visit jp.pima.gov or you can call them at 520-724-3171.